When you start, you want to think about the placement on the page. So these boxes are all in 2-point perspective and they all share planes. So it's almost like they're sitting in a grid. They're all next to each other. They're going to share a plane that makes it pretty easy. They're going to the same 2 vanishing points on the eye level. So I need to think about how this page is broken up. So I know that about here on this piece of paper, this is going to be about here. Now, this is pretty low on here. I'm going to actually move it up just a little bit on my paper for better placement. I know that there's the corners of these boxes I can kind of look at about where I think that they should fall. And make sure that I'm placing correctly before I get started. I can also do things like look at when I go to draw in this corner, if I go straight across like this, I know that where it needs to line up on this box. So I'm going to be using my sighting sticks to help me place, because the most common thing that you will do is place things wrong in the beginning and then realize that it's not going to all fit on the paper, or I'm drawing too big, or I'm drawing too small. This isn't what I want. So make sure that you are using your sighting sticks to figure out your placement on this piece of paper. So once I'm drawing this, I'm going to start with the corner of this box, and I'm just going to start with the corner of this box. And I'm just going to draw. This line has to be parallel to the side of the paper. Now I'm finding the angle on the photo and bringing that down to the actual paper and finding where they both cross and putting a pin in, bringing down my eye level. Where that pin is on that eye level, that is my vanishing point left. Now everything on this side of this box is going to go to vanishing point left. And it will for all of these boxes, because they are all in 2-point perspective and share parallel planes. They're all lined up next to each other, so they all go to the same 2 vanishing points. Now if I take one more angle, figure out where it crosses, put a pin in, just double check, make sure it's accurate, and then bring your string down to finish this side of the box. And you won't have to move these pins at all because these boxes are parallel. So all these boxes will go to the same 2 vanishing points. So when that happens, it's pretty easy because you just have to get them lined up. The hardest part of this is just making sure that you're placing everything on the page where it should be. Now I'm making that box all transparent. Because our assignment is to create transparent boxes. I'm just adding a little bit of line weight, defining. Now I'm measuring where it meets up with this box and then how far it goes down. So this could be a vertical and a horizontal sighting stick to make sure that you placed it accurately. Now this goes up to vanishing point right.
that side will go to vanishing point left. And it's right next to that box, so it shares that bottom plane. Now there's a little tiny bit of space. It's not like it's backed up right against a wall. I'm lining that up. So it is necessary to pay attention to where everything meets. Going to vanishing point right, and then drawing that straight line which is parallel to the side of the paper. Make sure that your parallel lines that are supposed to be parallel are parallel. It can be very easy for you to get a little bit uneven and then everything looks off. If you question it, use a protractor to make sure you're at a 90-degree angle. You're just using the strings to bring all of the lines to the vanishing points. Okay, now I'm figuring out where to place this other corner. I'm kind of looking at where it lines up with everything. So I know that was right next to that box, so it has to be lining up like that. So think of it as being almost on a grid. That back edge, going to vanishing point right. That line's parallel, go to finishing point left. Remember to sketch lightly at first in case you make a mistake, but then you can go back over it darker. I'm doing that transparent inside of the box. Kind of defining it a little. Coming in and adding a little bit of line weight to all of the boxes that I have done so far. I have one more box to do, and it's one that sits on top of that third box I drew. Get a little bit of the line weight in. So now, measuring where does it go on top of this. It has to fit on this box, so you have to be very careful to make sure that you're paying attention to how it looks. Remember, you always draw what you see. That's the most important part of drawing. There's some space. You can see the amount of space that is between those two shapes. You can make sure that you are accurate. And then finish, make this transparent. And once you finish all of these lines, all you have to do is come back in and add a little bit of line weight until you're happy with it. And it's done.